Now, it's 9:15. Good morning to you. It's Anna King here. A Stonehouse woman is being recognised in the Queen's Birthdays Honours List for her work supporting patients with dementia and indeed their carers. June Hennell, MBE, has devoted the past 7 years to helping others who suffer from dementia. Following her husband's death, she set up a dementia support service, the Stonehouse Memory Link, and she joins me now. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Anna.
I say MBE, and you think?
I think amazement and great humility.
Well, congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you. Obviously richly deserved. But you didn't believe it was real when the letter came.
I didn't. I think when Brian and I set out to campaign to help to destigmatise and destigmatise dementia and help people to understand more what it was about, we couldn't possibly have foreseen the impact that either of us could have.
And this is all as a volunteer. I mean, all the work that you've been doing is unpaid. So clearly you had a huge interest because of your husband. But what kept you going? What kept you motivated?
It was wonderful people in Australia contacting me and saying, we love what you've written. Can we adjust it for the Australian audience? And I'm thinking, but they speak English.
Yeah.
But of course, the Australians like everything bright and bold. So they created publications based on what Brian and I had written in conjunction with the Together Trust, with NHS Gloucestershire, with the university, with Gloucester County Council, especially the commissioning group in Gloucester, were very supportive of Brian and I. We helped them to develop a dementia strategy for the area. So when people are asking you for your input, it's absolutely wonderful, and you feel genuinely humble that when people say to you, but learning from real life stories is so much better from learning from textbooks. When psychiatrists tell you that, and policemen and care home leaders and nurses, it's amazing the number of lives that we seem to have affected.
Give me a sort of snapshot then of Brian's story.
Brian was diagnosed with frontal temporal dementia on the 4th of February 2009, which was the day the National Dementia Strategy was announced. And when he learnt that he had frontal temporal dementia, his reply was, well, we've never thought of ourselves as a trendy couple. How nice to be fashionable for a day. And when he learned that frontal temporal dementia was the fourth, only 4% of people getting a diagnosis will get FTD, he said, well, I wouldn't want anything too common, would I? This absolutely sums up his attitude to getting a diagnosis. We were thrilled to bits that it was neither of our faults. Dementia had entered our lives, and the aggression and the frustration that he was feeling and taking out on me, if I'm honest, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't our marriage disintegrating. There was a cause.
And that will be relevant to a lot of people. I know there'll be other people who say, I'm not recognising this person that I love, and this is so not like them. That's right. A tough thing to keep that love flowing when things are getting, not always, but when things do go in that direction. Yeah. Well, let's bring in Robbie at this moment, because you brought with you Robbie Duncan, who you describe as a friend, a colleague and a co-campaigner. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
In fact, you were the only person in the world that June told that she'd been given this MBE. Is that right?
That's correct.
That was quite an honour to keep that secret
good morning, Anna. Yes, exactly.
8 weeks.
I had a phone call from June. We have a carers group of people who have been caring for their loved ones who are living with dementia, and we meet every week. And June, I usually pick June up to go on to this meeting, and June said, "Could you pop along a bit earlier and have a quick chat with you?" And I thought, that's a bit strange.
What's going on?
So I arrived early, and June handed me a letter, and there it was. in black and white.
She said, I don't think it's real.
But that's right, she did. And I said, I think it's okay. But I was sworn to secrecy afterwards. So.
Well, you obviously did a good job. I think that's one of the hardest things when you get these honours, I believe, from people who've told me in the past, is keeping it quiet, for until it's allowed to be spoken about. But of course, you are you become a friend as well as a colleague because of your own experience with your mum.
That's right, yeah. So I met June in 2012 on a positive caring course, which is run by Carers Gloucestershire. At the time, I was caring for my mother, who was living with vascular dementia. I was her carer for 8 years. And so at the point I met June and our friends and colleagues, we were all pretty much at a point where I think we felt that we were alone as carers. But walking into the room and meeting people like June, I realised actually I wasn't on my own. And there's a great deal of number of people out there in the community who are doing their best they can to support somebody living with dementia, and giving them the opportunity to actually live a full life and still play a major part in their families as well. So that's how we met, but then things sort of spiralled away from that as well. We've been involved in working closely together at the University of Worcester with the Association for Dementia Studies, where we run a number of sort of classes for healthcare professionals as well as social care professionals as well, trying to give them an insight from a perspective of a family carer in my my situation. And of course, from June's, it was slightly different to me that she was caring for her life partner, her husband. And
when you do these talks and you take part in these with professionals, are you surprised that they're surprised at things that they didn't realise or that they have perhaps thought was one way and in fact the reality is different?
Well, let me tell you one comment from care home leaders and a senior management team of a chain of care homes that Robbie and I presented to in London late last year. After the coffee break, before question time, one lady stood up and she said, I've been elected spokesperson. She said, in this room there are more than 250 years worth of dementia experience in the professional world. We thought we knew what we were doing, but you two have taken us to a whole different level of understanding, and we will go away and do our jobs in the future differently, but remembering your words will be echoing in our ears, and we will change what we do as a result of today.
Well, what more could you say, really? Many congratulations to you on the MBE. Many congratulations, Robbie, on the work that you've done together and the difference that you're making to help people understand. June Hennell, MBE, recognised there for her work supporting people with dementia, and friend and colleague Robbie Duncan on the efforts they're making to tell it like it is.